Right, good afternoon all. I would like to say thanks to the media for giving us this time so that we can actually state our position with the public as to why the need for industrial action today. We are here in an attempt to save public education for the future of our children. The BET has a list of 23 issues that the Ministry of Education must address. Firstly, we demand a retraction of the use of standards-based grading until there is proof with supporting data that the infrastructure is in place for its implementation and that all teachers are properly trained and have mastered its use. Secondly, further issues concerning the BET are physical plant, working technology, increased bandwidth, and under that working technology, one working computer for every classroom, increased bandwidth, access to Wi-Fi for all staff, working overhead projectors, smart boards, etc. All schools should have working computers at all times, for not just the teachers but for the students as well. ASD autism program, teachers have no breaks, including lunch, no prep time, and adequate staffing is needed for such programs. Our para-educators and our preschool administrators have been working without a proper job description for the last 20 years. I do remember 20 years ago we were looking at doing this. There was a promise to address these concerns. To date, we do not have assigned working job descriptions for our para-educators or our preschool administrators. Insufficient preparation time for our teachers. Adequate support is needed for the types of students we are getting in the system, including proper facilities. Inadequate staffing and resources. Behavior of students we are getting without adequate programs put in place. Specialist supporting team environments, more qualified substitutes, more learning support teachers, health and safety issues to be addressed, particularly with fire alarms. We have a school toward the west where there are hearing impaired and there are no flashing lights for those hearing impaired students. That needs to be addressed. There's another school farther west where they have not had a proper, or in fact a working fire alarm for several years now. That needs to be addressed, and it's a health and safety issue. In fact, with the health and safety law, our teachers could literally shut down those schools as we speak because of the law. And hence these items need to be addressed for the safety of all on the campus, students, teachers, administrators alike. That's important. More support and better plan is needed for multi-tiered system programs. Students who reach particularly a tier 3, which means that it's a level to where we need to have proper facilities, resources, staffing in place to address these concerns and needs for the MTSS programs. Education officers, we've been without education officers for a long time now. Right now, they've looked at the possibility of putting teachers in there in acting positions. Some of these teachers have known since July that they've been successful. However, they still remain in their schools as opposed to being in place at the Ministry of Education. The ministry claims that they need to backfill those positions. That is something very new to us. And probably because of the large numbers and the fact that they've gone without it for such a long time, that the numbers are very large and very huge. Hence, they're having to backfill. But that is something that needs to be addressed immediately. And particularly with the SPG, these are the persons who should actually be leading all of the SPG programs, etc., and helping the ministry to define exactly what's needed for SPG. So until these people are in place, we will still be where we are right now. Currently, there are 3 mentor teachers. At one time, we had as many as 8 and 9. The ministry has put out an advert, and I believe I've actually started interviews, but they're only interviewing one. They're replacing one who's recently left the system. But, you know, to go from 9 to 4 is inadequate in our opinion. And we also need to ensure that the number of mentors are not reduced any further. 4 means that every mentor, depending on the number of new teachers we have a very large load to deal with. And we can go on with this, but you know, there are several issues, and each of you will get a copy of this to take with you. But there are several issues that need to be addressed and need to be addressed with at least a time frame in place to say how these matters are going to be addressed, how and when these matters will be addressed.
Sir, questions?
Yes.
The pertinent question is being asked, is there going to be school tomorrow?
Well, I do know that the matter has, the Ministry of Education have actually, since last week Thursday, sent the letters to the Labor Relations Office. I've been in contact with the Labor Relations Office as of today, and we have agreed that, in fact, we're suggesting availability for a meeting at 10 o'clock tomorrow with the Labor Relations Office and the Ministry. Hence, we expect that schools will be open tomorrow, as long as these discussions are ongoing and that we're making some headway with the Ministry of Labor. Schools will remain open as long as those discussions are successful.
Is it true that there will be a vote of no confidence in the BUT President, Shannon James?
I can't address that.
So just for clarification then, parents who are tonight looking...
They can expect to be in school tomorrow.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Will further job action be coming? Is anything planned?
Only our membership can make that decision.
Is work to rule still in place?
We've never been on work to rule.
No. Do you think there's a disconnect between the ministry and the BUT and teachers?
There appears to be a disconnect. However, I like to think otherwise. You know, they nod their heads to everything, but there's no action. And if we're looking at the lack of action of disconnect, then there's a definite disconnect. Because we're done talking. A lot of the issues have been raised for many years. And you know, as I said, we're here with the hopes of saving public education. You know, in our meetings with the Minister of Education, the Minister actually, and to do with SPG, one of our meetings talking with SPG, the Minister opened the meeting saying that, you know, I've talked to several teachers, and the majority of them have said that with SPG, they are seriously considering leaving the system. We're trying to save public education. We cannot have an exodus of our great teachers leaving public education. Because we have a classroom full of students and no teachers to teach them. We need to save public education. We need to save it post-haste.
A release from your organization that came out earlier today encouraged dialogue, including Premier David Byrd. I'm wondering if there has been, has the Premier reached out to the BUT? Has that dialogue started? What has his involvement been to date?
I'm not aware of the Premier reaching out to the BUT. I do believe that and I suppose we can say the Premier has actually reached out to the President of the BUT. He has reached out to the President. However, were those discussions happening, I'm unable to say at this point.
Has the Minister sat down with the teachers since all this has been taking place?
Well, the Minister hasn't actually sat down with the teachers. The Minister invited himself to our meeting on the our last general membership meeting, and the teachers pretty much laid it on the table. Their angst with SPG, their angst with the lack of proper support for students who are in dire need of programs and proper support.
Is there a message you might have to parents who are concerned with what's going on right now? Is there something you'd like to say to them?
Well, actually, I think it's important for us at this point to thank the parents for their involvement and their collective support, even if not directly to the BUT, but with their staff at the individual schools. Parents have been most supportive, and we trust, and it is regretful that they have had to reach this stage, but it is deemed very necessary, and we want to thank the parents. And parents, we're doing this with our students at heart. We're doing this again. I'm driving home the fact that we're attempting to save public education.